So Windows has brought back one of the most useful utilities from Windows XP and Windows 95. PowerToys is here, and there's a new release update. So PowerToys is a really cool set of utilities built with a bunch of different modules that allow power users to tune their experience in Windows to be a little bit more to how they want it to be. And there's a lot of really great tools in here. Today, I'm going to quickly walk you through all the different things that are in PowerToys and how I utilize them, and some tips and tricks on how to use them yourself. So one of the best things about PowerToys is that it is completely open source. As you can see here on their GitHub page, they have everything laid out for you, and if you scroll through, you get to see the overview, and you can see all of the utilities that they've packed into this thing. You can click on them and you can get some more details about them. So once I go through them, if you have any more questions or if there's something that you're interested in, you can go ahead and click on them here, or you can click on the module overview button here in the program and you'll be able to get a more detailed look at the module itself. And I will leave links for this down below in the description. Feel free to go ahead and check it out. I really think you guys will like it, and let's just hop into the modules. So first off here, we just have the general settings. I have mine set to run at startup, and I have it also set to always run as administrator. So good suggestions if you are going to be using a lot of these tools the way that I use them. You can also override the appearance. Anybody who uses light mode, when there's a dark mode available, you're just silly. So I have it set to system default because my Windows is set to dark mode, so that's why I've kept it. The color picker isn't the most useful tool, but it does allow you to go ahead and pick a color from anywhere on your screen. So if we do the Windows Shift C here, and anywhere I move my mouse, it'll tell me the color value, which, you know, could be pretty helpful. But I don't personally have any use where I would use that outside of Photoshop, and Photoshop has its own color drop. So a color dropper is usually something that you would only use there. But if you did find something that you needed to do a color dropper on and you wanted to do it just directly through Windows, this is the way to do it. Now, Fancy Zones is definitely the feature that I use the most. It allows you to create your own zones within the Windows desktop when doing multi-window modes. So as you know, on Windows, you can grab a window here and you can move it to a side and it'll take up half. You can move it to another side, it'll take up half, right? But you're limited, right? If you drag it to the top, it'll make it full screen. But you're limited to those two halves and making it full screen. With Fancy Zones, you can create a multitude of different layouts, and I actually use this while I'm streaming. So an example is we'll go ahead and create a new zone. So you go to the launch zone editor here, and we're going to go to custom, create new custom, and we're going to go to edit selected layout. So now we're going to go and we're going to add 3 zones for the way that I use mine. And we're actually going to lay them out like so. So this one is going to be that. This one goes like here and here. I grab my dashboard here, and the way you use Fancy Zones, you can hold Shift key to activate them. So I throw that there. I throw my Discord in the top, and then I throw my Spotify or whatever music player I've been using in the bottom right hand corner. And now this gives me a perfect layout. I can customize it even further. I can create more zones. You have a bunch of templates here, which I don't really find any of these particularly useful, but if you do have an ultra wide monitor, Fancy Zones becomes even more useful in that case. And you do get quite a few settings to play around with. I don't really utilize many of them at all. I do have it so that it, shows the zone. I hold the Shift key, but you can make it so that windows stay in their zones if a screen resolution changes. So you can have it when a window launches, it'll automatically try to go back into the last zone that it was placed in, which is pretty nice. You do get lots of options here, so feel free to go through them. You can change the colors of the zones. So as you can see, like they're blue and gray for me. I don't really see the need for myself to include those, but you can also exclude certain apps so that they'll only react to Windows Snap, which is, you know, the basic 1/2 and 1/2. But this is the one that I utilize the most. The File Explorer stuff won't be useful to most, but it allows for scaled vector graphics to be available in the preview pane, as well as being available as a preview in the thumbnail, which is pretty nice. So if you do a lot of stuff with scaled vector graphics, this is really awesome. Now, the image resizer, I've only used this a few times, but it's really nice. You can quickly resize an image just by right-clicking on it and choosing a different resolution. So if we go ahead and navigate to this wonderful folder of pictures, and we go ahead and right-click on an image, you will see Resize Picture. You can choose the sizes based on the sizes that you have laid out in the image resizer, and you can add more if you'd like as well. And you just go ahead and you do, let's do small. Ignore orientation, sure. Boom. And it'll create a smaller version of that same image. So you can, when you have that right click option, you do have a few things that you get to do here. You can make it so that it overwrites the original image and so on and so forth. And within the settings itself, you can kind of choose the encoding, but I haven't really felt the need to change any of them at all. Now, the keyboard manager tool is really cool. It's basically a keyboard remapper, so you can remap any of the keys on your keyboard. You can create your own kind of shortcuts. I haven't really done any deep diving on here to create anything myself, but it is a pretty simple layout. When you do so, you can make it so that certain keys do certain things, and shortcuts can be, you know, moved around and edited and changed as much as you'd like, which is pretty nice. So power renaming is a tool that you used to have to use alternate programs for, or you'd have to use like the PowerShell to do so, but now they make it a lot easier to do. You just, again, right click on the file and you can power rename items. It can be really good if you do things like dumping images from your camera onto your computer to do editing. You can power rename all of them to have a certain name or a date on them instead of just being the, you know, the default file name that your camera spits out. You can do a lot of things with this. I don't utilize it all too often, but I have been using it lately for when I import all my camera pictures. PowerToys Run is probably the thing I use the second most. It is really awesome, and it allows you to use Windows Search the way it should be used, where it only shows you stuff that are immediately on your computer, and it determines what you're trying to use as an app or whatever without searching the internet or finding all this garbage. I do suggest that you change the shortcut to Windows space. I think by default it's Alt space, but Alt on most programs will pull up the settings or the files or what have you, and that'll null the shortcut, so it won't work. So if you press Windows space, now you can start typing. If I type Discord, and there you go, and then you can actually see some of my videos as well. So pretty nice. You can add, you know, folders and drives to your indexing, but it is a very, very quick search. I'm sure I can probably search a game and all the games pull up as well. So a really great tool, and it's extremely quick. So instead of pressing Windows key and then going down to the thing and starting to type and then getting a whole bunch of garbage, you can just change your shortcut to Windows space, type Windows space, click, search whatever you want, and you can get to it pretty quickly and very accurately as well. I've really enjoyed this one, actually. And one of the best parts about it is that you can maximize the number of results so that it only gives me 4 results at a time. It makes sure that I'm not getting a whole bunch of bloat, and it seems to be working really well. It always gets to whatever I really want to search for instead of all this other stuff on the computer. The shortcut guide, it's pretty nice. You just hold your Windows key and it'll end up showing you all of the, you know, simple shortcuts within Windows. Nice thing to have if you keep on forgetting them. I like having mine set to the system default so that it's dark. And it does show these a couple times. I don't really utilize these because I know most of these off by heart anyways. But for someone who doesn't know the shortcuts very well, it's a great way to learn them. And the video conference mute, which just allows you to quickly mute your microphone and your webcam. I don't utilize this at all, but if you do find a need for it, it's built in there, and it seems to have a pretty decent amount of options as well. And that's it. PowerToys being back is really great. I've been utilizing a lot of this stuff as much as I can, trying to learn some new ways that I can utilize certain features. If you figure out any other uses for some of these tools, please let me know in the comment section below. But if you did find this video helpful and you learned something new, please consider giving it a thumbs up and possibly subscribing to the channel. It really helps me out. If you have any questions about today's video or about power tools, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below, or go ahead and join the Discord. Lots of people in there. I'd be glad to help you. Power tools is really great, and there's a lot of really cool ways you can utilize it, but if you're getting stuck with something, more than happy to help. And as always, I stream on Twitch from Friday until Tuesday. Come check me out, come say hello. You can also ask your questions in there, and I try to answer them pretty quickly depending on what I'm playing or what I'm doing. But it'd be great to see you there. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys next Friday.